this morning I booked my flights. My flights are in 2 days' time on Thursday night. So I'm getting into Joburg Friday morning around 11:30. My tournament next week is at Reading Golf Club here somewhere in Joburg, and that is Monday to Wednesday. So when I get there on Friday, I've got sort of like Friday afternoon, Saturday and Sunday to get ready for this tournament, as well as the next 2 days here in England. So I'm thinking the best way for me to use my time wisely is for the next 2 days, I'm going to be hitting just an outrageous amount of golf balls. Just really trying to just dial in the swing stuff that I'm trying to do, plus do as many sort of like wedge test games I can. As soon as I get to Joburg, I'm gonna do lots of short game work, so putting drills. I haven't really been able to practice putting at all since I was in South Africa last year, so lots of work on the putting green, just the standard stuff which I'll go into next week when I get there. Short game work, and then playing lots of holes over there, getting used to the altitude, getting used to the fact that it's not 8 degrees and pissing it down with rain. I can actually wear a t-shirt and swing freely at 30 degrees. I hate to say it, I know it's, I don't want to like rub it in, but it is like 30 degrees over there at the moment, which is going to be quite nice. So yeah, I feel like that's probably the best way to spend my time. 2 days of just loads of golf balls on the range. I think the course is pretty much going to be shut for the next 2 days anyway. And then we get to Joburg, get ready for the conditions out there and do lots of short game work, and then we'll be ready to roll Monday for the first tournament. I've got 2 tournaments over there, 2 Jamaica tours, 2 Bushveld tours. First week I'm there, then a week off, then one on the last week. So this is why we're going there, to try and get in there and get involved. I've also got a little update before. I'm not going to rattle on in the car too much. I'll probably talk about some of the stuff I'm working on swing-wise in a minute. I've got an update on the old profit and loss for 2024, and unfortunately it's not a great one. So tournament entry, I think it was 190 for the Alliance last week. We got 3rd place in the team event on the last day. I got 60 quid for that. So that is a net loss for that event of 130 quid, meaning for 2024, we are now 15 quid in the green. It is what it is. This is tournament prep. This isn't tournament season. It's not about earning the big bucks yet. So just like move back and through. This looks a bit dodgy, looks a bit suspect. I said at the start of this year, I'm gonna try and just have a golf game that is repeatable, consistent, and the one that my worst golf, when I'm really struggling swing-wise, I can still get it around. And I actually managed to do that a few times this year. So I played at East Devon in a tournament, and I shot 1 under par, and I hit it really well. Didn't putt very well. But then I played at Saunton a week later, shot level par on the East Course, which is a tough golf course. Level par is always a good score there. And I swung it like, what I'm going to say badly, because on the day, my feel wasn't producing sort of like the ball flight or the outcome that I was hoping for, or that I've been trying to work on. I probably spent a few years like trying to get my golf swing in a perfect spot, and I wasn't really exactly sure why I was doing that. It was like, well, maybe aesthetically it should look a certain way. But if you actually look at if you just watch PGA Tour, you just see like a massive variation in golf swings, but they all sort of like know how their swing works. They all know how their body works. They all know what moves work for them, and that's, we see, I guess, like the matchup. So some will have funky positions, but it will work because they do something else. I've sort of like put everything together, and I know how my body works. I know that like my hips move really quick, and I've always had that, and I'm never really going to be able to slow them down. Like my hips move quick. I'm not very good at sort of like getting into the floor and holding my position there, even though it's something that I'm slowly trying to build in. My hips move really quick, and I struggle to like really get into the floor and to move, you know, like I guess like the Ganker style of coaching, where you get into the floor and you do this and blah, blah, blah. Like I shallow the club well, but I struggle to stop my hips going real quick. So if I get the club in here, inside, or quite low, what most people would call perhaps like on plane, like flat to on plane, because of the way my hips move, I'm always going to struggle because they're always going to outrace. My hands are always going to be too deep, and then it's always going to be a timing issue because I'm having to then flip the club to try and get the club on the ball, and that's really hard to consistently produce. So what I'm working on is, for starters, it's like a right elbow thing. I can never let my right elbow go this way, go deep, because when my right elbow goes deep and my hips go quick, that right elbow's behind me and I'm stuck and I'm just absolutely screwed. So I'm working on keeping the right elbow out in front and also getting this club head to work slightly outside the line. So it's probably looking like on the steep side. Because if I can get the club slightly outside the line and the right elbow out in front of me, what that would do is it will allow me a lot of time here. As soon as I go there and the hips go quick, I'm stuck. But if I'm out here and the hips go, the club's still in front of me and I can deliver it to the golf ball. So I'm sort of playing with my tendencies and what I do and trying to build something that is the easiest way of me just moving a golf ball from A to B. I'm also trying to get to a point where I'm just hitting a cut, even though probably like if I just hit it, I would hit a draw. But the reason that I prefer that cut feeling is because my hips go so quick. When you're hitting draws, unless you're hitting draws where you like stay down on it and there's sort of like quite a bit of connection with the body, it's very hard for me to consistently produce, basically consistently get the club in the right place to not get stuck. So it makes more sense for me to try and get this cutty move where the club's slightly outside, the right elbow's up in front of me, and then from there my hips can go nice and quick, and then all I'm focusing on is just basically my hands have like an interaction with the club head, and I'm just trying to feel like that club head just stays really passive. So it's like club out in front, right elbow high, and it just gets dropped down into this position, and then a really, really passive club head where I'm just feeling like I'm holding it off, and I'm holding it off of every single club, so the club face is fairly controlled. Just hit one rather than rabbiting on. The other thing I'm trying to slowly like move into my game is where I go with my weight. So I have a tendency to sit back and flip, and I don't get really like, I don't post into my left side, if that's the correct terminology. I don't get into my left side and then push up and off from there. I have the tendency to flip and then sort of get stuck a bit, which is why I always used to struggle like staying on balance. So I'm slowly, and this is something I'll do in practice only, I'm slowly trying to feel like I'm just getting into that left side, and that again makes it easier for the hands to come in front and to hold the face. As soon as you start pushing early, you're going to throw the hands a bit. So that, slowly moving that into the swing is just helping quite a bit. So that's really all I'm trying to focus on at the moment. When I'm on the golf course, all I focus on is hands connected to the club face, and it's more like a path and face thing. Right, I'm just trying to feel like the path's there and I'm holding the face. So it's like the most simple feel. When I'm on the range, I'll be like, do lots of rehearsals. I'm trying to get the club in the right place, trying to get out here, and I'm trying to get the weight onto the left side. But I'll spend like a bit of my practice doing that, and then I'll spend a bit of practice going into actual on-course mode. So it's, yeah, that's sort of like a summary. That's where we are with it right now. Now, it's quite a lot of detail, and it probably sounds like I'm, like, if that sounds like there's too much going on, there's completely not. It's like the most simple couple things ever. It's getting into the left side, and it's keeping the arms in front of me because my hips move really quick. So I'm working around what I've got, and yeah, it's working really well. I'm really starting to get some consistency in my ball striking. which is the key to the game. So you make some money. Just try and be a consistent ball striker. Your bad days aren't horrific. That's sort of where I'm trying to work towards. That's my feels.